Hi guys, so this is a really unplanned video. The original next video was supposed to be something completely different from this, but I decided to have the plan to make this video right now, what you're watching, only a couple of hours ago, and just to show how unplanned it is, I am still wearing the exact same attire that I booked out of my camp in. It's the exact same one. I went straight home, turned on the camera, don't even have my left mic on, don't even have my ring light on. The only thing that is set up right now, the only thing that's set up right now is the phone and the tripod. That's it. And the reason why it's so unplanned is because, if you don't know, as of recording, it is the 10th of January 2024, which is the same day that the O-level results for secondary school students in Singapore is dropped. At first, I mean, I knew this day was coming, but again, as a guy who's currently not a student and is currently a soldier, which is still crazy to think about. When I decided to scroll through Reddit today, that's when I remembered, oh crap, today is when it drops. And then, yeah, I was just, and then I opened up RSS SG exams, and then I saw some threads and comments on there that, after reading through them, I thought maybe I should do something about that. Maybe I should give my 2 cents on the matter, especially as someone in the position of not just being a YouTuber who can give my perspective and broadcast it to everyone out there, especially since the original model of YouTube was like broadcast yourself, if I recall correctly. I don't know if that was or is still the case, but yeah. But other than that, I want to give my 2 cents because I've already been through the majority of the academic journey. I've been through primary school, secondary school, junior college, and soon I'll be going to uni. So I thought maybe I should say some things about that. So yeah. Now, just to give a quick context on my own personal academic journey, just a quick speed run of my academic life. PSLE in primary school, I got a T-score of 206. Yes, T-score is the old system. It converts to around this number of AL points. Is that what the new system is called? Like, this is the range that it falls in. It's not great, but it's not bad. Then in oh yeah, and by the way, in primary school I took the standard plethora of subjects. No fancy higher Chinese or whatever. It's just English, Chinese, math and science. Nothing extra, just that. And then after that, I went to secondary school, where for secondary 4 I took triple science. So that is English, Chinese, math, additional math, physics, chem, bio, and combined humanities, specifically social studies and geography. And then for my O-levels, I got a raw L1 R5 score of 19. If you are planning on going to JC, that is not a very good score. In fact, that will probably only get you to like the bottom 4 or 3 junior colleges. That is, so yeah, that is really not good at all. That's really, really bad. And then from my JC life, I took the most common combination. It's the 3 H2s and 1 H1 PCME. So that's physics, chem, math, which all 3 of which are H2. And then I took H1 economics, and then obviously there is your H1 Chinese and your H1 general paper, which is English for some of you that don't know. And what's the other one? H1 project work. That too. And at the end of the day, at my A levels, I got 77.5 out of 90 rank points. But anyways, I'm saying all of this not to like flex or anything, but the whole point is just to give you guys context on my own journey, so that you guys can determine whether or not you want to listen to me yap. So yeah, take that as you will. Because the last thing I want is for people to assume that I got straight A's or like or anything like that. No, not at all. In fact, yeah, speaking of which, if you got like straight A's, you got like the maximum score possible, you are the top scorer in your school, you did superbly well in your exams, good for you! You're a prodigy. Fantastic. Great! Alright, kid. It's Catholic High. Hua Chong. But then yeah, if you actually genuinely did that well, good for you. Especially if you're the kind of kid that's like super smart without ever having to like properly study. Great. Fantastic. You got what you want. You got the best score. Go wherever you want. Good luck on that. But this video is more focused on the people who performed average to not say terrible, but okay, fine. I'll just say it up front. If you did, if you're average or you did terrible, let's not bullshit around here. I know some of you did worse than terrible. I'm not gonna try and sugarcoat it. There's no point. No point in sugarcoating this, because this is reality. We need to accept the facts. We need to accept the facts and face it. But of course, that doesn't mean we should go in fully pessimistic and anything. But yeah. Okay, so when you got that result slip, when you received it, there are 4 ways you could react. The first and most anticlimactic way is that you just don't give a damn. You look at it and you're like, okay, fine, let's just go home. I just want to do my thing. You don't care about what result you got. You just want to go back home, do what you want, and you just want to have and just enjoy the rest of the day and how much break time you have until your next major step in your academic journey starts. You just want to hang out, have fun. I wouldn't say that's the right or wrong thing to do. I'm just saying that's certainly a reaction that you could have if you really don't care. Then there is the students that did really, really well. There are the students that are either prodigies or their efforts paid off. They did super well. They scream and enjoy, and they smile for the cameras, for Straits Times or whatever news agency, for them to put their pictures on the front covers. Yay. And then they'll be able to go to the school that they want, and they'll be able to get the job that they love to have. And there's the average response. This average response is when you open up the results book or whatever, you see your results and you're like, okay, this is enough for me to get into a decent school. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet in life, or I don't really have any big aspirations. I just want to get a decent job and live a decent life, and maybe start a family. That's the most average response. And then there's the group that did terribly. The ones that when they see it, they either they will either be speechless, or they are speechless for a moment and then they cry, or they break down the moment they see it. And then there's the fourth reaction, the worst reaction that anyone can have. It's the one where you have certain thoughts after that, and those thoughts can often be described as being this word. And unfortunately, I can't say this on YouTube, because if I don't, then if I do say the word, this video won't reach as many people. But let's just say that this word rhymes very well with the phrase super slide. If you are having those thoughts, I know everyone says this, don't do it. Please, for the love of whatever there is out there, don't do it. Please, please, please. I like, even as I'm not, by the way, I'm not religious. Even then, don't do it. Please don't do it. Please don't. There are many other things to look forward to in life. There are many other things, and I really suggest that you don't. Please, if you have such thoughts, call the hotlines link down below. I will have the relevant hotlines for Singaporeans and Americans. Unfortunately, I won't be able to label obviously every single country, but for if you're not from these 2 countries, please search up the relevant hotlines and give a call, please. There's so much more out in this world, and just ending it prematurely, trust me, it is not worth it. Especially with everything I've been through, please do not do it. There are ways out of having such thoughts, and there are ways to improve your situation. So please, 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 don't do it. Don't do it. But anyways, back to what I was saying just now. For those of you who especially did terribly, I know that feeling, it really, 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 really sucks. It sucks. Like, I remember when I got my PSLE results, and I was an immature kid. At 12, I was very immature, mentally speaking. I really, like, I only mentally matured at like around 15 or 16. It took me freaking forever to like wake up properly. And when I got my PSLE score back, I remember the first thing I was concerned about is dang it, then I won't be able to go to Catholic High where the astronomy club's at. I'm not even kidding, that's my reaction. And while I didn't really fully comprehend it at that time, I did start to realize how bad, at least to some extent, how bad it was when I saw my parents' reaction. Like, okay, they weren't like full on like angry or yelling, but they were definitely very visibly upset. They were like, upset with a hint of frustration. I could tell, and that alone was enough to like make me feel like absolute like shit. Like it wasn't good. It felt terrible, and like that feeling. It's like what I felt was all because I got 206 for my T score, which isn't even the worst outcome. There have been worse, way worse outcomes. Like if you got like a worse score, you probably have to retake the exam, or like you have to go to a really terrible school, and then you probably have like really a much tougher time trying to get to the place you want to go. Or the worst, and I think this is the absolute worst part of it, is if your parents are the kind that fulfill the Asian parent stereotype of "Walao, you better get that full A, like straight A's or you better do well go to lawyer school, go become doctor or like you better you do well or else you take the cane or I you know, that really stereotypical Asian parent behavior that is terrible. It's the worst feeling you can get to see the people that brought you into this world to take a shit on you for like getting a terrible score. Even if you, and especially it will feel especially shit if you know you put in some effort, then and your parents still crap on you for that. That's especially bad. And the worst case scenario is if your parents are the kind that are more physically or emotionally abusive. Like that is the absolute worst outcome, like the worst outcome. And considering what I've been through, I cannot imagine having to go through I can't like that kind of experience of like having to deal with parents that are like emotionally or physically abusive, which is like unfortunately in the reality that we live in, there are some students and some kids that have to go through that shit. I'm not like, which is terrible. And it's also the spark that gets certain people to have those super slight thoughts that I said just now. And when you know that, and when you get the pressure from everywhere around you, from so not only are your parents being like, oh, you better do well, or you'll like disown you or whatever, and then there's like also you getting into a crappy school and end up being like in a crappy situation where you won't be able to get to where you aspire to be, and then there's also the pressure of society being like, hey, you better do well, or else you're gonna live in a poor home, or you're gonna be homeless and whatnot. And like it's just so much stuff being pressured on you, and that's just talking about now. Can you imagine with the rate of inflation and how everything is getting more expensive day by day? Like it's only going to get worse with all this pressure building on top of you. It creates this like sinking feeling in your body and in your head. It's like so much the stuff. It's like it gives you a head splitting headache. Like it's terrible. It's like it's the terrible feeling that I've gotten countless times, even not for national exams, by the way. Even just in like normal school level exams where I'm like, crap, I didn't. How the hell am I gonna improve from here? What the hell am I gonna do? I'm gonna do shit or whatever like that. Let's try and like face like the facts here. That result slip that you hold in your hands, that at the end of the day is a number that represents your academic prowess. It is not a representation of who you are, because at the end of the day, it is just literally a black and white number on a piece of paper. It is not representative of who you are. It's not representative of your personality and your character and your aspirations and your dreams and then your skills and whatnot. Like, you can do terribly and yet be one of the most empathetic and the most social and the most kindest person on the planet. And you can be super smart and be the most narcissistic, the most terrible, and the most difficult and egotistical person to work with. Don't take it like it's a representation of you. It is not a representation of you. It is merely what the education system or what the markers determine is your level of academic knowledge. Because you are a human. You are more than just a number. You are a person who can live, who can breathe, who has the opportunity to do all of this to be alive, to experience shit, to be in this thin slice and this thin minuscule slice of the exist in the entire timeline of the universe where you can live, where you can do what you want. Even if it seems impossible, with what you have in here and what you have in here, it is possible. Because if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have come this far. We wouldn't have been the only species on this planet that has been able to get this far. We wouldn't have been the only species on this planet who has been able to have agriculture, to have begin developing like more advanced tools, to building cities and towns, and establishing even the concept of society, to even establish the idea of asking questions. The fact that you can do that, the fact that all of us can do that, the fact that any of us can do that is much more than just that silly little number on that piece of paper. So what am I trying to say here? When you see that number and you see that it is not gonna help, not gonna be good for your future endeavors when it comes to trying to get into a school that you like, or a school that is better, the best that you can do is just go with what you just go to the school that you can go, or the best that you can go, the best best in your situation, not just in terms of like, oh, what is the the best school you can go in terms of academics, but also the school that's closest to you, because again, not everyone has, you know, the money to travel to a school that's like on the opposite side of the country or something, like obviously not. So once you get in that school, just do the best that you can. And by what I mean by do your best, how do you determine by your best is look at how you performed for your previous exams. My mom told me this at like many times before, but it only clicked, I'm not even kidding, it only clicked in JC. And like for me, right, the problem that I personally face, the reason why I didn't do so well only up until JC is because, and not even up until, not only just up to JC, until JC1. It was only in JC2, like the second year in JC, where I actually bucked up. The reason why I personally had so much problem was because I just, I had trouble trying to face the facts. I had troubles trying to face reality. That reality being, I just couldn't sit my ass down on the chair and focus hard enough. I love to deviate to other tasks. I love to do my own thing. It took me a while to finally accept that, like to know that what I'm doing is wrong. And I started looking at what other people are doing, and I found like a friend of mine who, unlike the rest of my class, was actually doing really well. And I learned from him. I asked him where you get your resources from, like what and all that stuff. And I asked him, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll try that out. I tried it out. And it worked, and it helped me. I say all this because like you need to find out what the root cause is. Is it easy? Absolutely not. It took me like primary school and secondary school and half of my GC time to figure that out. But if you really need help, if you need help trying to figure out what that thing is, the most simplest thing that you can do is just ask a teacher, ask your parents, or if again if you're in a situation where your parents are a bit more violent, then maybe ask a counselor. Ask a counselor to help guide you through this process. And yeah, and I know it's difficult to commit to doing certain stuff to improve, but that's just kind of nature, right? Improving and changing your habits is not supposed to be easy. Evolutionary speaking, it's never been easy for humans to do that. And well, we just had to figure it out either way, and here we are. And it's the same for individuals. You need to just go for it. Just do it. Okay, just at least try your luck. Try asking your again. Ask your teachers, ask your parents, or if that's not an option, ask a counselor. Ask them, what did I do wrong? Especially if you feel like you've already put in a lot of effort and yet somehow you still did really poorly. That is especially a situation where you need to go up to someone and ask them for advice. Because if you feel like you've done really well, if you feel like you've really put in a whole lot of effort and you still didn't do very well, either A, you're delusional, or B, there's something wrong, or like there's something wrong with your technique. There's something wrong with the way you're doing things. Okay, so so far I said first pick the school that you can go to, not just for its academic prowess, but also for its accessibility and its pricing. Then the second thing I said was to determine where you went wrong. After that, the last thing I want to say is come up with a plan. Come up with a plan. Come up with a plan of how you want to do things. And to give you a context of what my plan was, for me, it was basically making lecture notes constantly and basically taking all of that mess that they give us and summarize it into simple, easy to understand points. And on top of that, using those lecture notes and doing papers. Like, again, you don't have to like grind through all of them at once, and you don't have to do all of them with a timing. Just at least do it so that you first get a grasp on the concept first before you start timing yourself and before you start grinding through. Start off slow. Don't go in cold turkey and just burn yourself out super quick. Trust me, burnout is terrible. So go in slow, go in easy. It sounds like a sex show, but yeah, go in easy. Start off slow. Create the lecture notes, and for that, I personally I would suggest using like Word or Apple Pages or OneNote. And then once you start making the notes, you start doing the papers. For Singaporeans, I suggest the Holy Grail website. That's what I really use. And if you really don't know how to do some of the questions, then just, ask your teacher afterwards. Don't trust me, don't look at the question and stare for like an hour. If you really don't know, just skip that for now and like ask the teacher later on. And then once you start grasping on the concepts even more, once you have that good grasp, then you can start timing yourself. You can start doing more papers in a day and hopefully build up your momentum. But then again, please be slow about it. Don't do too fast to the point you burn out. And then once you get all of that done, try studying with people who aren't as confident. Like I'm not even kidding. If you're teaching someone like the concepts, it actually helps. It really does help when you are able to teach someone the concepts. It helps you be more confident with your knowledge. But at the same time, you might stumble upon a question where you're like, oh yeah, wait, why is that the case? And then like you can ask your teacher and whatnot. And after hearing all this, I know there's gonna be some of you who are still not convinced. You're like, okay, yeah, but like but like how like I don't see how that's gonna help me, and I also got like really crappy results. I still don't know how. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. I don't understand how this is all gonna help me, and I did so bad, and my parents are gonna kill me, and like the school's gonna kill me, and the teachers are gonna kill me, and like and then I'm not gonna be able to get to where I want to go, and I'm just gonna end up living a shit life, and like, okay, let's slow down a bit, okay. I've felt that feeling as well, and that feeling is and those thoughts were especially intense at the end of J1. Like for context, I did really bad. Here's the result slip for my end of J1 performance. It's really bad. Like I almost didn't promote into J2. Like I was at a point where I felt like I was really the shittiest student in the school. Even though I know that there were shittier students out there, like, who did worse than me, it didn't matter. The boundaries of my mind, when I saw my results and I saw, and I saw that I almost didn't make it into the next year, I was like, what the hell? Like, what am I gonna do from here? It feels like I've done everything that I could in my power to do what I could to improve myself, and yet I still didn't do well. I've tried for 6 years in primary school and 4 years in secondary school, like a total of 10 years in this school system. And yet after all of that, somehow, all that time, I've just gotten worse and worse and worse. I was just stressing out. What the hell am I gonna do to improve myself and prepare myself for the A-levels? And even once J2 started, I still had these feelings. Because in the year of J2, like things started pacing up a bit because A-levels were coming, and I was panicking. I was like, oh my god, there's so much stuff to take in. And it was like, it felt like I can't even describe it. I can't describe it. It's like, and especially like it's just this indescribable feeling of like everything is blowing past you. It feels like the last run in the marathon when like you're all the way behind, and like you can't see where the finish line is. You can't see it. It's a complete fog. It's like you feel like you've done everything. It feels like you trained up for everything, and yet even after all of that crap you've been through, it's still all of it's still for nothing. For you end up being the shittiest student in like a really I wouldn't say terrible, but just really not the best junior college. Like what, to know that is a shitty feeling. And but then after a while, after I let these thoughts like go turn from boiling to a simmer, after some time, that's when I started thinking more. I started thinking in a way I didn't think before when it came to my academics. I started really, for the first time, seeing my academic performance as what it is. Not the tale of a guy that like did everything and yet still flopped, and more of the guy that just isn't seeing something, someone that is missing something, an important piece of formula. I stopped thinking that I was at my maximum. I needed to think like there's still something I'm missing. Or rather, I am already on the right track, it's just that I'm not maximizing it. And that was when it clicked. Like, in the past years, in primary school, I highlighted textbooks to like and in fact I have like my PSLE revision guide. I still have it somewhere in my storage room. Like, I would highlight keywords and stuff, and then after that, but then even after, obviously I did only okay for my PSLE, and then for secondary school I did make some notes, but I didn't complete those notes in time, or rather the notes weren't detailed enough, and I wasn't doing a whole lot of papers either way. And then I did worse for my O-levels, and then for my J1, my year of J1 at the end of the year, that was when my notes weren't even like really fully developed yet. It was only like half complete. So that was when it clicked. The reason why I wasn't doing well was because I wasn't making lecture notes in time. I was too lazy to make them and really develop them properly, and B, I wasn't doing enough practice papers. I wasn't getting enough experience with the papers. It's basically if someone just, you know, read the whole guide on how to fly a plane but never actually flew a plane and expecting to be like some guy from Top Gun. That's basically what was happening. And so it wasn't the case of, oh, I'm missing this solution here. It was that I was on the right track, but I wasn't committing to the solution enough. And so once I saw one of my classmates, the friend I mentioned just now, doing all the practice papers, I was like, okay, let me do that. And alongside that, I'll also improve my lecture notes, and that's what I did. I really grinded, like, and I spent so much time just doing all of that. And I ended up where I am. I got the score I want. I got the course I want, and yeah. So yeah, the whole point of me saying that is that even if it seems like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, even if it feels like there's nothing there, trust me, when you look at it from a different perspective, there is a future. There is a way to get to the place that you want to be at. And of course, doing this is difficult, but you either have to find it within yourself to look at it differently, which is difficult. I mean, I already said it took me 10 years to figure that out. And if you really still can't do it, ask someone. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, the scores I've gotten throughout my entire academic journey is far from the worst. Like, there are people who have done way worse and have gone to the even worse places. But for the performance that I had for so much of my academic journey was bad enough that I have felt that darkness, that creepy shadow catching up to me, and I just didn't want to stay near it, and I just wanted to get the hell out there. And I wanted to prove to myself that I can do it, and I did. And keep in mind that at the end of the day, what really matters is that you end up happy. Like, you end up being in a place in a position that you love and you deeply care about. And at minimally, you'll be able to, when you're on that deathbed at the end of the day, you are able to say that I've had a good run, that I've done well for myself, that I've done well for maybe my kids, and did myself proud. That's what matters. That's really what matters. And like, there's this okay, I can't remember the exact words, like, but I think it goes something along the lines of like, you can have everything yet nothing at the same time, and you can have nothing and have everything at the same time. I don't know. I don't know if those are the exact words, but that's basically how it goes. Like, you can have a life where you're rich and smart, but still be miserable, and you can also have a life where you have nothing. You live in in a crappy environment, and you don't have the smarts, but you at the very least still surrounded by love and people that you really care for. And the whole point is that you, at the end of the day, you're happy. You end up somewhere where you're happy. And the reason why I say this is because originally, I actually wanted to go to Polytechnic. Originally, I wanted to go to Nanyang Poly or whatever, but my parents pressured me to go to junior college instead. Because I mean, like, it's typical Singaporean mindset lah. It's like, you better go JC so that you only need to spend 2 years there, and after that higher chance of getting to uni, which is not wrong. That's not wrong. I don't blame them for that. But at the same time, yes, while it's true that at the end of the day, I only spent 2 years there, and I was able to secure myself a spot in the course I want. It was still detrimental to my my mental health. Like, again, like I said just now, majority of the 2 years was spent just studying, and it's the sole reason. And because of that, like, I didn't have time for my hobbies. I didn't have time to work on my YouTube channel. Again, the reason why I didn't really upload in 2022 and 2023, I didn't have the time to upload. I didn't have time to record. I didn't have time to edit. I didn't have time to work on my hobbies. It wasn't great, you know. Which is why every time I have holidays, I clutch onto them so hard, because it's the only time I get to somewhat do the things that I love. And honestly, even though I ended up the place that I wanted to be, I ended up in the course that I wanted to be in, and I shaved a whole year off of my academic journey. Had I been given the choice, I would have gone to Polytechnic. Honestly, God, I would have gone to Polytechnic. Yes, I get that it would be an extra year. Yes, I get that it would have meant that I would have a lower chance of getting into the uni course that I want. But at the very, very least, I would have spent the time in my poly way more fruitfully, with way more happiness than when I was at JC. But oh well, I ended up in JC, and I had to figure out a way to survive the rigorous 2 years there. So yeah, that's the whole. So yeah, what I'm trying to say in summary is, like, at the end of the day, no matter how bad or how good you do, what truly matters is that you do something that really makes you feel fulfilled. Like, you don't have to live up to your parents' expectations, and you don't have to go beyond your capabilities and, like, force yourself into something that you're not. All you need to do is to just be very acutely aware of where you want to end up, and planning carefully how you're gonna get there. Like, don't try and wing it, and don't try and think that, like, the goal the goalpost is gonna stay there the whole time. It can shift. You can shift your dreams and aspirations based on your capabilities, and it's okay for your dreams and aspirations to change. You know, I remember as a kid, like, I heard that as a kid, like, I heard that most people don't end up achieving what their childhood dreams were. And that's the case for me. As a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. and I mean, I even today, I would still, if I was given a chance to be an astronaut, I would take it in a heartbeat. Even if I died in space, I would still go for it. But knowing that doing that is very difficult, the next best thing, and the thing that I also still really love, is aerospace engineering and YouTubing. I like it. And looking back at what kid me thought about the whole dreams and aspirations changing thing, I think it's good that good for your dreams and aspirations to change based on your abilities. It's all right. And what matters is that as long as those dreams and aspirations can fulfill what you want, your happiness, joy and love. Like that's what matters, really what matters. So yeah, TLDR, no matter how bad or how good you did, what matters is that if you have that goal in mind and you're sure that that is what you want to go for, and you are confident that that is what will get you that happiness, that fulfillment for yourself, there we go, for yourself, not for other people, for yourself. If you're really sure that that goal is really what will bring you the happiness that you want, pin that goal hard, and then look at every single option you have, every single one of them, and plan. Ask from your friends, ask from your teachers, ask from your parents, or if not, your counselors, and just keep going. At the end of the day, no matter what school you end up in, it's not the end of the world. You could always retake your A levels, you could retake your O levels, you could retake your A level, not your PSLE, your N levels. You could retake it. You could decide to get a degree in uni and then decide, oh, I want to go to a different course, and then just go for it. You could do that if you have the budget. You could. I think the mistake that we're making is that we think that, oh, we can't retake. You can, and it's not wrong. You could. If that is the stepping stone that you need to get to where you want to go, then go for it. But if your dreams and aspirations, you're still not sure whether or not that can get you what you want, then, shift around, widen your horizons, at least get some rough idea of what you kind of want. Let's take my case. Maybe I don't want to be an aerospace engineer, but I still kind of want to do something in engineering. Then take an engineering course, aim for an engineering course, or civil engineering, or something similar to that, and then just just build your way to it. Again, it doesn't have to be the typical path. It doesn't have to be the normal one. You can retake your exams. You can retake a course. It's up to you. There's no right way. Yeah, sure, there's the typical way, but there's no right way. You can do what you want. I have known people who have after secondary school, they go to ITE, then go to poly, then go to uni. I've known people like that. And I know that there's the typical stereotype of ITE. For those of you people who aren't from Singapore, the ITE is notorious for, at least publicly a lot of people see that school is like filled with all the bad kids and whatnot. But trust me, not all of them are bad. Like, I've met some of them that are absolutely one of the best people on this planet, that are like really nice and really thoughtful and care for you. So yeah, again, because of that, it just goes to show that there isn't a solid path that you have to take. You can go whatever path you want, no matter what kind of student you are. So yeah, think about yourself. Think of what will get you there think about what will get you to your goals. Think about how you get to those goals, what you're good at, what you're bad at, and just go with the best path that you think will get you there, the easiest and the one that gives you the most opportunities during that time. So yeah, that's it I have to say for this video. That is gonna be a pain in the ass to edit, because there's just gonna be so much stuff I'm gonna have to cut out because I keep repeating certain things. But yeah, for those of you who just got your O-level results, I wish you all good luck, really good luck. As someone who used to go through O-levels, and trust me, far from the end of the world. It really isn't. I mean, I got into one of the worst JCs in Singapore, and I still did alright. I still got into the course that I want. It just goes to show, it doesn't matter. Just go to where you can go and work from there. May take more years, may take less years, depends on your situation, but it doesn't matter. Those extra years that you spend don't matter as long as it gets you what you want. As long as you enjoy those years, that's what matters. So what if you're older by the time you go into uni? That doesn't matter. Come on, let's think about it. If you had two choices, a really short academic journey that is really stressful, or a longer academic journey that is more fun, you want to go for the latter, unless you're like a maniac, but or like a prodigy. But yeah. So yeah, good luck to all of you out there. I wish you all the best for your future endeavors. It will be a difficult journey, but nonetheless, if you play your cards right, it will be the journey that will give you fulfillment for the rest of your life, if you're able to take some of the things that I picked up from this video. So yeah, I wish you all the best, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.